Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my garden. So today is day 2 of summer garden shape up week. Yesterday I talked to you all about day 1. My purpose for doing this week is because it's been so hot here. I mean, it's the middle of summer. I've been lazy. I haven't been wanting to come out here when it's so hot, and I haven't been getting up early, and my garden is showing it. I can definitely see that my garden is suffering. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to dedicate a whole week of coming out every single morning, 7 a.m. and working on my garden and getting it back in shape. I have a lot of projects that I want to do, a lot of projects that I want to get started, but I have to, maintain the things that I already do have before I get started on any other projects. I'm telling myself that. So this whole week I'm going to be coming out here and I'm going to be doing basically maintenance. I made myself a big list and divided it up day by day so that I know what I'm doing, I don't get distracted, and I can really focus on the task at hand. So today is Tuesday. Today is pruning day. So I'm going to prune, deadhead, train up, work on my vines. I'm standing right in front of my climbing roses. Those need to be addressed. So just pretty easy stuff as compared to yesterday. Yesterday was a big day because yesterday was planting day. So lots of digging, lots of lugging plants around. I'm so happy that I got all those plants in because that means I don't have to water them anymore. But I think today's going to be a little bit easier. I mean, knock on wood, but we'll see. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start pruning my verbena that's kind of going over my sidewalks. I'm going to prune my heliotrope, which is a bummer because it's going to take away some of the blooms, but I think it'll kind of rejuvenate it, and same thing with the begonias. All right, let's get started. So first up, I started off with pruning my Superbena Whiteout from Proven Winners. I love this plant. It is so wonderful, and you all have to remember a lot of these plants that I'm pruning, I use as perennials in my garden. They're technically annuals. They're sold as annuals, but I use them as perennials. These were from last year. They were in here all season last year, so I do end up having to prune back and really cut back a lot of these plants. And I don't mind. I think it keeps the plant really big and bushy and blooming. And if you can believe it, this plant is kind of out of its flush of blooms right now. Usually it'll kind of come in and come out, and it's just a sea of white. So I'm using my 10-gallon pop-up bag from Fiskars today. I have another one, a 30-gallon one, but I always go back to my old 10-gallon one because I seriously cannot carry the 30-gallon one. Once I fill it up with plants, it's too heavy and it's just not worth it. So I keep going back to this 10-gallon one, and it's got holes in it and the handles have ripped off, so I gotta get a new one and not the 30-gallon one. So after that, I went on to the heliotrope. Oh, and then before I had pulled the afternoon white cosmos that were just done, heliotrope, and then right behind it is the Surefire Rose Begonia. Both of those, again, I'm using as perennials. They were from last year, and so they had gotten a little leggy by this time. So I think if you use these plants as annuals, you don't need to cut them back. There's no need to. However, these plants were getting a little long in the tooth for me, and I feel like that they would just do a lot better for the rest of the season if I had just cut them back by half to encourage bushiness, and I'm happy that I did it. Okay, so next on my list is pruning the sweet potato vine I have in my front annual swoop. This is Sweetheart Lime, Sweet Caroline, Sweet Potato Vine. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the shape of it. I love the leaves of it, but obviously you can see it is the most vigorous thing I have in this swoop compared to the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry and the Snow Princess Lobularia. So the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry is doing great. The Snow Princess Lobularia it's not trailing behind. It's still doing fantastic, but in level of vigorousness, it's the lowest out of the 3, which is totally fine. I still think it looks cool. I think it looks kind of like stripes. I think next year I'm going to do another mono planting of just Supertunia Vistas, just so that I don't have to deal with pruning the sweet potato vine. I had imagined it would just kind of spill out here, and not mound up on itself, but it is literally mounding up. I've already cut this back once, by the way. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm not going to do a ton. You guys might not even notice what I do. I'm just maintaining it so it doesn't get out of control. Sorry about my shadow. Yep, so I'm just doing it so it doesn't get out of control. Really quick, I want to show you. My Chinese French flower is blooming. I can't believe it. I had a comment from one of you the other day talking about fringe flower and saying that yours blooms 3 times a year. And I thought, oh, I wonder what variety they have. Mine only blooms in the early or the late winter, you know? And then all of a sudden I come out here and I'm looking and it's totally blooming. Not a lot, obviously not as much as it blooms in the winter, but it's still pretty. I love it. So moving on, I started addressing the sweet potato vine in my annual swoop. And it's too funny because I am sitting here editing this video and I am watching the difference between when I did it before and when I did it after, and it looks like I did nothing. Even though I filled up 2 pop-up bags worth of the sweet potato vine. It is just intense and it just builds up on top of each other. And I feel like this variety is actually one of the good ones, not the vigorous one. So I don't know if I'm gonna be doing sweet potato vine in the swoop next year. So going through my checklist, just checking off all the things that I've been working on, I moved on to my topiaries. I have this Texas privet topiary. I have another one in the front that I'll get to in a bit. And then I also have this juniper spiral. And I got this juniper spiral on the clearance rack at Lowe's. So it's not the most beautiful thing, but as it's kind of rehabbing in this spot, I think it likes this spot a lot and it's kind of filling in the bare spots. So each time I prune it, I think it looks better and better. I moved back to the front yard and addressed my newest Texas privet. I'm trying to make it into a cone. It doesn't look quite like it yet, but I'm working on it. I deadheaded the Salvia Nemorosa Caradonna. Very pretty. I cannot wait for that to fill out. Then I deadheaded my foxgloves and my Mystic Spires Blue Salvia. So, you know, it's just all the little stuff that I had just been putting off because it's been too hot. The geraniums right here, just a giant list of things, and I didn't even finish everything, you guys. Okay, that was a lot. It is 10 a.m. and I had to come out here and rest on the hammock and just chill because that was way harder than I had planned. I thought this was going to be a nice, relaxing day where I was just deadheading, but there was just so much to do, particularly that sweet potato vine in my front annual swoop. That was intense. That took a lot out of me. So I didn't get everything done, of course, but that's okay. I'm not going to give myself a hard time. There's still a lot of stuff that I need to do. Something I definitely need to do is train my climbing roses, but I'll try and get to that tomorrow or by the end of the week. But that is why I set a timer for myself, so that I don't feel bad for stopping when I still have more things to do. It's, I will get to it eventually. So I got a ton of stuff done. I got most of the things pruned. I got that juniper spiral prune that I'm always so nervous to prune, but I think it looks really, really good. And then just a bunch of deadheading and, different things like that. So I don't know why I was so tired today. I think it's really muggy. I looked at the humidity and it's 73%, and that's higher than we're used to, obviously. And it just takes so much out of me. So I feel so bad for you all in the South. I know I always say that whenever I get the slightest bit of humidity here, but oh my goodness, it's just so hard to work in. I think today's going to be a swimming day for sure. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope it was motivating for you to get your maintenance done in your garden, even though it's hot. And I hope you all have a chance to get into your garden today.